Welcome back, everyone. Well, let's face it, the economic growth and success of any county really is contingent upon understanding the individual factors that contribute to that growth and understanding the details inside of those so anybody in business can make an informed decision about what they should do to grow their business. Well, one of the leaders in this regard is my guest. This is Marty Vonnegs, who's the president of the Saratoga County Prosperity Partnership. Welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Very
Appreciate
nice
being
to
here.
have you here. It must be Casual Friday for you because the
bow tie's gone.
Identifying bow tie is missing.
I'm not sure I have one for this shirt. So,
okay.
Yeah, that must be it.
Well, welcome.
Yes,
Very nice to have you here.
Thank you.
In the time that I've gotten to know you, Marty, I realized that it's one thing to sort of regurgitate statistics, right?
Sure.
Let's face it, that's a real centerpiece in your world. But it's another thing to really sort of analyze that data in terms of what it means for the people who actually will doing what I said at the beginning, trying to make decisions, informed decisions. And that's a much more complicated, involved process than reading a bunch of numbers.
Yeah, Peter Drucker, famous management guru, said, what you can't measure, what you can't improve, you have, wow, I can't remember.
It is Friday, Marty.
In order to improve something, you have to measure it.
Yes,
and he said it something like that. I'm not quite sure. But anyway, so we have to be able to measure our economy, understand what it's doing. Yes. And you can find national data, you can find state data, you can find even regional data, MSMA data. But very rarely, and not rarely, but it's hard to find that local data. And so if someone comes up to me on the street and says, how's the economy doing? You just look around and say, yeah, it's doing great. But really, we want to be able to measure that. And so our luncheon, our Economic Index Luncheon, does that. We are going to show those who attend what's happening in unemployment, what's happening with housing starts, what's happening with our college and educational attainment, our workforce issues. That way, we can see and we can measure and we can year to year, month to month, talk about how we're doing.
What Marty's referring to is a luncheon that's coming up and a panel discussion that any business owner, any stakeholder in the county would really want to attend to sort of better understand what this data means. Kind of drilling down almost from a national level down to a county level, and then inside that information, utilizing what you know about our region to say, here's what this means. Now, I want you brush through, but I want to cycle back on it. Unemployment, income, housing, education. Those sound very central to what we're talking about here. Now, let me just get overall. If you were to pick one of these, unemployment. I've heard the phrase participation rate. That's a perfect example of what we're talking about.
So people generally, when they look at economy, they say, what's the unemployment rate? Nationally, we look at the GDP and the unemployment rate as the two big measures of how well an economy is doing. And so if you look at the unemployment rate, it tells you how many people are unemployed. And most people don't know there's like actually 8 different unemployment rates that the federal government measures. The one that's reported in the paper is the one that we use. And so right now I think it's 4.7%. But the unemployment rate can't be looked at by itself without looking at the participation rate, and that's how many people are participating in the workforce. So grandma and grandpa are probably not participating in the workforce. In other words, they're retired. The 12-year-old playing soccer is not participating in the workforce. But there's a lot of people who are. And participation is either you're working part-time, you're underemployed, or you are unemployed. Those are the participants in the workforce. And so if you have a high participation rate, which we do here in Saratoga County, giving a little preview of what we're going to talk about, and a low unemployment rate, that means it's pretty tight for employers to find people to work for them. And so, but if you have a community, a region where you have a low participation rate and a high unemployment rate, then it's just the opposite.
Gotcha. Okay.
So anyway, so we're looking at those kind of numbers, and we're going to talk about that and where we stand, and we'll compare against other regions and other communities, and look at the economy from that perspective.
So at the luncheon and the discussion, they will be concentrating on unemployment, digging into it like Marty was describing, income levels, housing, and education. And I can tell you, as a business owner, we're always focused on those topics.
Oh, yeah.
Now, the setup is you've got a panel, correct?
Right.
Leaders in our community.
Yeah, so we'll do a little presentation first, probably 15 minutes of presentation, the ubiquitous PowerPoint slides,
Yes.
and talk about a whole bunch of different things. And then we'll go into a panel discussion. And we have Charles Waite for Adirondack Trust Bank. They're the presenting sponsor of our program. We have David Deutsch, who's president and CEO of a investment banking firm down in New York City. He's a Saratoga Springs native, so he's a great affinity for the community. We have Andrew Jarash, who's the Saratoga County Treasurer.
Right,
so we'll talk about revenues from the governmental side and how that fits into the private sector. And then we'll also have Spencer Helwig, who's the county administrator, talking about the budget and how all that fits in. So it all intertwined in our economy here in Saratoga County.
That's a very impressive panel,
Yeah,
by the
very
way,
good.
because
We're
you're
really
hitting on
excited.
people and experts at every one of these things that,
Yeah.
that affect us.
We hope to end at 1, but with that panel, who knows? We could talk all
Oh,
afternoon.
got it. Hey, you can go to their website and find out more about it, which is saratogapartnership.org. saratogapartnership.org. And I really encourage you to, if you're a stakeholder in this community, you're thinking about your growth plans for your business, you want to network with other people who have the same considerations, the same concerns, this is the place to do it. It's also at the Van Patten Golf Club, which is down Clifton Park, right?
Yep,
Outside of Clifton Park. Really easy to find. Just get off exit 10. You'll figure it out. But go to the website, and I'm sure you'll get a much more explicit answer than the one I just gave. This sounds like a series to me.
Yes.
You know, because if you could talk about economic indexes, but there are other indexes. What's the next one after this?
Oh, funny you should mention that. We are having another a program in June. We'll give the date to you as soon as we can.
Sure.
And what we call a cultural index.
Oh, great
There's
idea.
a lot of talk today about how the cultural and arts fit into a community. And from an economic development perspective, it's very, very important because companies that are looking to grow here, either if they're here already or to expand here, have one common need, and that's talent. They've got to find the talent to that they can employ to build their companies. And today, every economic development organization in the country is trying to figure out how to attract talent. And so today, cultural, arts, music, restaurants, plays, all that is very, very important to attract the talent that you need to employ in the very creative and high-tech companies like Global Foundries and others that we have here. So
Yeah, you know, regardless of the specific need of the person, you know, that you want to employ, you hear the phrase quality of life. Well, quality of place is
Right.
has a lot to do with that. Plus, it's very surprising because I'm hearing so much about this. This is a great idea for next discussion, is how much all of these people who are parts of that cultural community contribute to the economic well-being of a community, and that's a whole other part of this.
Yeah.
Well, I really look forward to having you back for that one.
great.
Okay.
No, we'll talk about that soon.
And I'll see you then. Once again, Thursday, March 29, next Thursday, March 29, at the Van Patten Golf Club. Get there around noon, I suppose, networking, lunch. There will be a presentation, experts on economic indicators.
Right.
What?
And what you can't measure, you can't improve. That's the statement by Peter Drucker.
You know, I was hoping you would get around to
I
that.
know, I couldn't get it out my mouth the first time. So as we sat here, I remember what it was.
I like that. That's good.
All
Great to
right.
see you,
Thank
Marty.
you. Appreciate
Good.
it.
Thank you for coming in.
Yep.
To see this interview again, you can head to our website, looktvonline.com.